We are dealing with Diploma CET 2020 question paper solution for the branch Computer Science and Engineering and the subject Digital Electronics. In Diploma CET 2020 question paper, they asked 10 questions related to subject Digital Electronics, and we will try to solve those questions one by one. In that, the question number 111, the octal number 567 in decimal form is option A 375, option B 2900, option C 10111011, and the option D is 456. According to Diploma CET syllabus, we mainly came across 4 number systems. The first one is binary number system. The second one is octal number system, and the third one is hexadecimal number system, and the fourth one is decimal number system. Here, any of these number systems can be written in the form of decimal number system by just multiplying that number with the multiples of that base number. In the question, they are given a number that is 567 in octal form, and they asked to write that number in the decimal form. Here, the 7 is present in the 0th position, and 6 is present in the first position, and 5 is present in the second position. So, the 7 is multiplied with the base number, that is 8. Why? Because the 567 is present in the octal form. For octal number system, its base number or its radix number is 8. Similarly, for binary number system, its base value is 2. For hexadecimal number system, its base value is 16. So, we are multiplying 7 into 8, and this 7 is present in 0th position. So, we have to write 8 raised to 0, which is added to the 6 into 8 raised to 1. Why? Because the 6 is present in the first position. So, we have to write 6 into 8 raised to 1, which is added to 5 into 8 raised to 2. Why? Because the number 5 is present in the second position. So, we are writing 8 raised to 2. When we calculate this one, we get 5 into 8 raised to 2 means 8 8s are 64 plus 6. 6 into 8, 8 6 are 48 plus 7 into 8 raised to 0 means 1. Here 64 5s are 5 4s are 20, carry 2, so 5 6 are 30, 30 plus 2 32, that is we are getting 320 plus 48 plus 7. Okay, when we add these numbers, that is 320, 48 and 7, 8 plus 7 15, carry 1, 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 1 7, and this is 375. This is the form of decimal number system, which is in decimal form. So, for question number 111, option A 375 is the right answer. The question number 113, dash has only one data input line, several selection lines and several output lines. Option A demultiplexer, option B multiplexer, option C encoder, and the option D is decoder. For question number 113, option A demultiplexer is the right answer. Why? Because the demultiplexer, it is the combinational logic circuit which has single input line and several selection lines as well as several output lines. When we consider a demultiplexer in general, this is the TMUX. We can also call it as DMUX. Okay, this DMUX or demultiplexer has single input line and several selection lines. These are called as selection lines. And this demultiplexer has several output lines. These are called as output lines. The demultiplexer has single input line, several selection lines and several output lines. In demultiplexer, the selection lines and the output lines are present in such a way that for n number of selection line, there will be 2 raised to n number of output lines are present. For example, if we consider a 1D mux, it has a single input. If there is a single selection line, we call it as S0. Here we are having single selection line. That means here n is equal to 1. So at the output side we are getting 2 output lines, that is Y0 and Y1. We are getting 2 output lines. Why? Because for n number of selection line, we have to use 2 raised to n output lines. Here we are using n is equal to 1. So 2 raised to 1 becomes 2. So 2 output lines are present. This type of demultiplexer is called as 1:2 demultiplexer. In 1:2 demultiplexer, it has single input and 2 output lines and 1 selection line is present. Okay. Similarly, when we consider 2 selection lines, the demultiplexer always has single input line only. Okay. If we have 2 selection lines, that is S1 and S0, here n is equal to 2. So the output line becomes 4, that is Y0, Y1, Y2 and Y3. Why? Because 2 raised to 2 becomes 4. So we are having 4 output lines for n number, for 2 number of selection lines. This type of demultiplexer is called as 1:4 demultiplexer. Why? Because it has single input line, 1 input line and 4 output lines are present for 2 number of selection lines. Okay. And then we are considering for 1:2 demultiplexer. We already know that for 1:2 DMUX, it has single input line, we can call it as D0, and it has a single selection line, we can call it as S. For this we have 2 output lines, that is Y0 and Y1. Okay. Here if selection lines, if S is equal to 0, then the input D0 is placed into the output Y0 side, that is Y0 becomes D0 when S is equal to 0. Similarly, when S is equal to 1, that means when selection line is equal to 1, then the D0 is placed in the Y1 side. So Y1 is equal to D1 when S is equal to 1. That means when S is equal to 0, then Y0 output selects the D0 input. Similarly, when selection line is equal to 1, then the output Y1 selects the D0 input. So for question number 113, dash has only one data input line, several selection lines and several output lines are called as demultiplexer. Move on to question number 114. The demultiplexer takes option A, one input and routes it to one of the several output lines. Option B, several inputs and routes it to onto one output line. Option C, one input and output after converting to different code. Option D, one input and decodes before outputting. For question number 114, option A, that is one input and routes it to one of the several output lines, and it routes it to several output lines depending on the selection lines. If S is equal to 0, then the D naught is selected for Y naught output. If S is equal to 1, then the D naught input is selected for Y1 output. So for question number 114, option A, one input and routes it to one of the several output lines depending on the selection lines is the correct answer. The question number 115, the basic computer architecture was developed by option A, Charles Babbage, option B, Blaise Pascal, option C, Gordon Murray, and the option D is John von Neumann. For question number 115, option D, that is John von Neumann, is the right answer. And here the basic computer architecture is also called it as von Neumann architecture, and this is the diagram for basic computer architecture, or we can also call it as von Neumann architecture. In this diagram we have mainly input device and CPU. Inside the CPU we have control unit and arithmetic logical unit, and also we have memory unit as well as output device. Here when we write any program by using the input device, then that program is stored in the memory unit. After some time, the central processing unit or the CPU fetches that data from the memory unit, and it will do the operations on the data depending on the instructions what we are given in the program. And inside the CPU we have control unit. This control unit will control all these operations, and the arithmetic logical unit, that is ALU, it will perform arithmetic and logical operations on the data. After executing or doing all the operations, then it will send the executed data or the information to the output device. Here the output device will display the executed information on the display unit. So for question number 115, option D, John von Neumann, is the right answer. And also here the von Neumann architecture, in von Neumann architecture both program or the instructions and data are stored in the same memory space. When we consider here in this memory unit, both instructions as well as data both are stored in the same memory unit in case of von Neumann architecture. But in Harvard architecture, in Harvard architecture, it uses separate memory space. It uses separate memory space for both program or the instructions and data. That means it uses separate memory for program or the instructions and for data. This is the data memory and this is the program memory. Okay, in Harvard architecture it uses separate memory space for both program and data. Suppose when we write any program, then that program contains instructions as well as data. Then data is stored in the data memory and the instructions are stored in the program memory. But in von Neumann architecture, both instructions as well as data both are stored in the same memory space. Okay, so for question number 115, option D, John von Neumann, is the right answer. The question number 116, all special purpose computers must have option A, set of instructions built into machine, option B, faster processor, option C, more memory, option D, none of the above. Here what is meant by special purpose computers? The special purpose computers are the type of computers which are mainly used for special purpose. For example, ATM, that is automatic teller machine, washing machine, air conditioner, these are the examples for special purpose computers. Why? Because by using ATM, why we use ATM? In order to withdrawal of money. Similarly, why we use washing machine? In order to wash the clothes. And why we use air conditioner? In order to make the surrounding area cool. For specific purpose only these devices are using. So these are comes under special purpose computers. When you consider general purpose computing system, for general purpose computers are mainly used for different functions. For example, for general purpose computing systems are notebook, desktop, laptop, smartphone. These are all the examples for general purpose computer system or the computers. Why? Because by using smartphone we can watch the videos and also we can play the games and we can surf the internet. We can do many functions. But in special purpose computers we can do only one functions. Okay. So when you list the difference between special purpose computer system, special purpose computer system or the computers, and the another column is general purpose computers or the computing systems. The first one is the general purpose computers have faster processor. It has faster processor. Why? Because in order to do the what? Many functions. The general purpose computers have to do many functions. In order to do many functions, it require faster processor. But in case of special purpose computers, it require a little bit or medium processor. Medium speed processor we can also call it as slower processor is only sufficient. Why? Because the special purpose computers are mainly designed to perform a special purpose only. So a slower or medium speed processor is sufficient. And the second difference is it requires more memory. It requires more memory in case of general purpose computers. Why? Because in order to do the more operations we require more memory, but here we require a less memory is required. Why? Because here we are having a less number of instructions, here we are having more number of instructions. In order to do the more functions, here only one function, so less number of memory is required. So when we consider for question number 116, the special purpose computers, it has not a faster processor is not required. Similarly, no more memory is also not required. So option A, it requires a limited set of instructions that is built into machine. So option A is the right answer for question number 116.